Hi and welcome to the next update of Legato Conductor. Conductor is an animation project management system that organizes your project files from different applications into a story and production step-based task view and allows you to quickly switch between project files, preview montage, production reports, resource planning and task scheduling and deadline monitoring. In this update, I'll show you the progress I've made so far. One of the most exciting features in this update is the auto-schedule process. If you have seen one of my earlier videos, you know by now that task box in a story viewport contains two types of jobs: FTE, needed for modeling, animation and much more, and rendering. Those two types of job have different impact on your deadlines, depending on your team and your infrastructure, so we need to be able to treat them differently in the planning. First, let me start with the beginning of that process. The default parameters are needed for the auto-schedule process to generate an initial schedule. They are located in the Project Settings panel. Press capital P on the keyboard to open it. This panel also contains some settings to protect the configuration file and the LightWave scene files in a multi-user environment, at least when you're using Conductor to access them. They need more testing and refinement, so for now you know they exist in case you need them. The auto-schedule process needs to know when resources are available and when not. If you depend on your desktop computer for rendering, or if you don't want to work 24 hours a day, these factors will, of course, influence the lead time. Initially, when you create a new task during a certain production step, Conductor assumes it will take time to build an animation and it will take time to render that animation. These start values will help you to generate a first schedule very quickly. Any manual update on the estimated FTE or render durations in the task properties of that task will improve the quality of your planning. The auto-schedule process returns the result of your set assumptions and limitations. If your activities do not fit into the schedule, you will need to make changes to the team, the render farm, the content of your final product, or perhaps even the render quality. If you are working in a team, I recommend that you have only one person make changes to story and schedule. The rest of the team should be able to use Conductor passively, for example with the lock function that can be made active by default at the start as an option, using this setting in the Project Settings panel. I created a new content directory, so Conductor will generate a new empty configuration file. No tasks have been defined, and the schedule viewport contains one single activity, the unassigned work activity. Now I create a random set of tasks using the default project settings. Immediately, all these tasks are automatically assigned to the unassigned work activity. Its duration is stretched between the start of the first frame and the end of the last one. You can add as many tasks as you want. You can even change the default settings before generating more tasks. You can change the schedule pattern on each individual activity. Sometimes you may need to trigger auto-schedule by slightly moving the activity bar manually. Notice how unattended days can influence the lead time of a job. You can change the assigned activity for a single task or a range of tasks. Press F4 on the keyboard to open the Task Properties panel. Then select option Schedule Activity in the pull-down menu to schedule a new activity or reassign the selected tasks to an existing activity. Manually combine tasks to logical activities. If you turned off the auto-schedule trigger, you can still use it. After selecting that activity and then press keyboard C to conform its jobs, and then press keyboard S to sum its jobs without reopening the Activity Properties panel.